What's good, folks? Remember, Christ is King. Never forget that. But welcome back to the Furnished Mind. So Republican Senator John Kennedy, he pressed this kid by the name of Gus Schumacher. He's not just a kid, but he's an Olympian, Olympian cross skiing champion. And he basically asked him about his position on climate change, because this young fella by the name of Gus, he's here is supposed to be an expert witness on climate change and why we need as a nation to reduce our carbon footprint. And he's advocating for legislation to be passed to spend lots of money on an issue that he himself does not really understand. But let's go ahead and just listen to him and hear the responses he gives in light of the line of questioning.
What is carbon dioxide?
I went to high school, but that's carbon dioxide is a gas.
Okay.
I'm not a professional to talk about carbon dioxide so much, but
boy, if you don't.
Well, you want us to abolish it, right?
no, there's always going to be carbon dioxide.
Right. So what is it you want us to do? Let me back up, because I want to. I mean, you're here as an expert. Tell me more about what carbon dioxide is.
I'm here as an expert cross-country skier who sees the changes in my winters and the landscape that I live in Alaska. And so carbon dioxide is what I see it as is, it's a gas that exists in our atmosphere. And
is it the major part of our atmosphere? Or?
It's a huge part of our atmosphere, yes.
It's actually a very small part of our atmosphere.
Got him! Got him!
Well, okay. But, yeah, I don't know. What are you asking specifically?
Well, you said we need to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. I'd like to know first if you know what it is. You want us to abolish fossil fuels?
I never said that.
You never have said that?
No.
Okay. What do you think we ought to do with fossil fuels?
What will we do with fossil fuels?
Yeah. Should we make any changes?
I would like to see a decrease in the use of fossil fuels. I think there's a possibility to use more electric generation.
Okay. Over what period of time? 10 years, 50 years, 100 years?
That's not. I would like to see it come as fast as possible while continuing.
How fast?
Sorry?
How fast?
I don't have a great answer for that. No.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Okay. You just think, well, how much will it cost for us to become carbon neutral in the United States by 2050?
I'm not a professional on that. I don't have an answer.
You don't have any idea?
No.
You just think we ought to spend the money?
I'm not an economist.
Yeah, but it's going to cost money. You realize that?
Yeah, but we've also talked about the trade-off of what the cost of climate change as emergencies will cost in the future also. So.
Right, but it's going to cost trillions of dollars to become carbon neutral by 2050, right?
I do not know.
You don't know. You just think we ought to do it.
I don't have a great answer for you, but I think I would.
If we spent those trillions of dollars and became carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States, which you advocate, how much will it reduce world temperatures?
I don't have an answer for that.
You don't know?
No.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
You just think we ought to spend the money and then see what happens?
I think as an athlete, I think if we spend that money and invest in our future, hopefully those temperatures stop rising and maybe the snow at least stabilizes where it is for me. But yeah, I don't think anyone knows for sure. I don't know anyway.
This is where we are, folks. Unfortunately, our K through 12 system has done a number. This is why we need to abolish the Department of Education and rebuild it from the ground up. Number one, we've already stripped our youth of their ability to think critically. We taught them to respond with emotions rather than logic and rationale. But in terms of breaking down arguments and having the ability to first argue both sides and then laying claim to your position, that's a lost art. That's not returning to the youth of America, and it's unfortunate because our education system has become a propaganda arm of our government right now. Unfortunately, so he wants us to spend trillions of dollars to reduce our carbon footprint, but to what degree, it's unknown. How much it'll cost, it's unknown. Are there benefits to having carbon in our atmosphere in the first place? Well, of course, we need oxygen, don't we? So, in economic terms, spending on physical assets on the course to net zero. So, this is the cost to reach carbon neutrality in our nation. So, it would be about US $275 trillion by the year 2050, or $9.2 trillion per year on average, an annual increase of 3.5 trillion. To put it in comparable terms, the 3.5 trillion increase is equivalent to about half of global corporate profits, 1/4 of total tax revenue, and 7% of household spending. We are on the trajectory for Mission Impossible. This is our total U.S. debt, total U.S. in totality. The United States of America owes $34 trillion. So we're $34 trillion with a T in debt. This is why it's so difficult for people to get on board with this whole environmental nonsense, because it's just so far-fetched. At the end of the day, I have no issue with trying to protect our environment. I have no issue at all regarding that. If we want to propose a solution, all I ask is that it's a realistic solution. Net neutrality is mission impossible, at least the course that we're on now. When you hear these Greta Thunberg speeches, nothing but emotion, zero logic. You hear the United Nations speak on what we need to do to reach net neutrality. We have people like Bernie Sanders, John Kerry. Like, I'm tired of y'all in your private jets telling us what we, the general population, need to do to pay the $256 trillion. I want any part of it. Find another solution. That's the answer, is we need to find another solution. As of right now, carbon is about 0.03% of our atmosphere. This whole idea of net neutrality and eliminating carbon is illogical because we need carbon to produce oxygen. So when plants go through the process of photosynthesis, converts carbon into oxygen, that's how we as human beings prosper. And if we're trying to reach net neutrality, how are we going to get oxygen? We can't bring our national debt down at all. It is increased every single year. And you're telling me $9.5 trillion towards carbon neutrality is what it's going to take? If that's true, we could literally eliminate our nation's debt in 3 years. But it's not true and it's not realistic. And then number two, if we're trying to reach net neutrality, that means we're not going to have enough oxygen being produced on our planet to sustain human life. Let me know your thoughts, because this is interesting. I want to know. You let me know your thoughts. This sounds foolish to me. Like, comment, subscribe. Deuces.